going? So today's video is going to be nothing like other videos I made on my channel. It's going to be between a vlog and motivational talk, something of the sort. I was a bit debating making it because it's unlike the content I post usually. And yeah, I was gonna make it also a very fancy video and got myself a microphone and stuff, and then my video camera battery died and the charger isn't working, so that's great. See, at least I was trying. So today's video is about how to become supernatural, or at least what people would believe to be supernatural or unrealistic in their lives. And so as you probably saw some of my health vlogs in the past, I had a bit of a funky journey since last year, December 2018 to present. In December 2018, I was quite sick physically, and I wasn't doing so well mentally either. So I spent all of 2019 healing myself physically. But what I have not failed to do, but what I have kind of dismissed was the fact that I had to heal myself mentally also, and work on certain aspects of my personality, of how I, go along with life and challenges and everything. So I decided to make this video not just to help me, but to help you, and just to tell you how everything came through. No, I didn't go to rehab or anything weird like that, don't worry. But I did have a bit of a, mental clarity moment that I want to share with you, and perhaps it can help you. I know a lot of people in my life that kind of have the same struggles as me, constantly like thinking about what happened in the past and kind of making it the present, and that can become a vicious circle. So before I get into what to do and what I have done to help myself mentally just progress and move on in life, I want to tell you how I came to this. So basically, in the last year, I have switched my diet completely from mostly plant-based to mostly carnivore, and that has worked wonders for my health. I'm healthier than ever. But mentally, I haven't really done that so much because, the stresses of life really take over your life, and just, you forget that you can actually become a supernatural being. On that subject, okay, so how did I come to making this video? This is gonna sound like so cliche, but anyways, we'll just go along. So, December 2019, which is what, a month ago, we go Christmas shopping, and my hubby wanted to go to Chapters to look at some books and stuff like that. We were like in the mood just to go to Chapters, and I'm not much of a reader. Actually, I wrote a book about a decade ago, but I don't really read that much. I'll talk about the book in another video, I guess, like if you want to know about the book I wrote a decade ago that took me a decade to produce. I feel old right now. But okay, so the reason I don't read is because I'm not gonna like give it a label. I get easily distracted and I have a million thoughts in my head. So when I read, not only do words switch up, which could possibly be dyslexia or ADHD or something like that, but maybe I just lack concentration. I'm not a very concentrated person, so whenever I want to learn about something, it has to be short paragraphs and bold, so I can like really just read that. Let's say a friend would send me a long ass message like that, I'll be like, can you summarize so I can understand the situation? And same comes for books. So I either do like ebooks or videos or seminars, or whenever I want to learn something, I usually prefer watching a video about it, something I can easily understand. So here we are at Chapters, and he's looking at his books about things, and like, all right, so I guess I'll walk around and see maybe if there's something that could interest me. So I'm scrolling like the aisles, and then I see a girl really scrolling through a funky book in an alley, and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. What's she looking at? And I looked, and the alley is obscure and no, occult and supernatural section. I'm like, oh my god, maybe she's a witch, you know. Actually, I have a few witch friends, so for me it's cool, it's fun, you know. But then like she noticed I'm like looking too much and like want to know what she's doing, so she leaves. I'm like, okay, like I'll pretend I was going there anyways. So I'm going where she was going, like what kind of book she's looking at, you know, because I love like supernatural stuff. So I go and like I look, and she was just looking at tarot and, you know, like precious stones and stuff like that, how to read your future perhaps, I don't know. But since I'm in that section, I'm like, might as well look at what else there is. And my easily distracted mind kind of looked at one book. And that book was, give me a second, this book. I don't know if you can see that. Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I focused on that book, and I'm like, okay, Becoming Supernatural, that's right down my aisle of interest. So I grabbed the book and I start reading into it. And me not being a reader, I actually get into this and start reading like 1 or 2 pages while I'm there, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna buy this book because this sounds like interesting. And like from what I read in the beginning of it, it really resonated with me, things that I actually was already believing. You know, I have witch friends, so I kind of believe funky things sometimes. So Becoming Supernatural. Okay, so I started at home and I was going to Martinique like a couple weeks later. So I decided to bring it on a plane. And there was absolutely nothing else to do on the plane than read. And I swear to God, I read for 10 hours total, that book. And I'm not doing like a publicity for this book. I'm just telling you what it's about. Becoming Supernatural is basically about reprogramming your brain to do things that you constantly limit yourself from doing. Let's have an example. You would believe that just because you're in a certain environment, certain things are not possible for you to achieve. If you, let's say, come from a poor background, well, you can stay in the mentality of saying, I'm going to be poor my whole life, and you know, my life is just gonna be miserable or something like that. Not that poor people are miserable, I'm just saying, like, the mentality of a certain situation would stay with you throughout your life. And what he basically tells you is, it doesn't have to be this way. You are the master of your own creation, which is your life. And anything that you will, meaning that you desire and put your mind at, is possible to achieve, whether it's like supernatural to you or it's just common things like just becoming more successful or happier or good things happening. That would include also healing, like internal healing, disease healing, anything negative that you have in your life could be fixed by a positive that you create in your mind. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I been doing these past years? And you know, when I was a teenager, when I wrote my book, my one and only published book, I lived in a supernatural world. Like when you're a teenager or a child, you live in a supernatural world, and a lot of things then happen to you, like good things, bad things. You know, if let's say, I don't know, for example, you do like some black magic with friends. Well, if you do a bad spell, you'll have in the back of your mind that bad luck will come to you, and little do you know, bad luck actually happens and funky things happen. So when I was like a kid or a teenager, a lot of supernatural weird stuff happened to me. I'm not gonna get into this in this video. I'll make a separate video about the book and how my teenage years were, but nothing normal really, like that I can think of. A lot of times when I was a teenager, I feel if I will something, it will happen. Like let's say I didn't have money one night to go to the movies and I want to just sneak in my mind, okay, and that will sound a little weird, I told myself I will become invisible, go through the gates, and go to my movie. Straight up, no one will see, I'll just go and see my movie. And I believed in it so much that I actually went to the movie and saw the movie, and I just went through those gates. Back then it wasn't that hard to get to the movies, but I willed the good thing to happen. Same for bad things. I could will those things to happen. And sometime around the time that I was becoming an adult, I kind of lost that magic about me that, like, when I willed something, like, I really believed in it 100%, I forgot that I was able to do these things, I always believed in my life that I will have success, I'll have good friendships, I'll have good things happen to me. I knew that I would one day work with fish, I would have a lot of aquariums. I always knew that. Well, that's the kind of mentality I mean by, if you really truly believe in something to happen, it will happen to you. Like, you just have to really work on it day in, day out. You cannot just say, I'm in a terrible position now and this will be forever, and just think about this over and over. And we as adults, what we tend to do, and that is 100% me in the last few years of my life, being an actual adult and letting the stress of shitty life events just get to you, and all your thoughts, which is about like 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, were just me recreating past scenarios and reliving the past, and like letting these situations stress me. And I do believe that that contributed to my health going downhill over the past few years. But about that, basically what this book has showed me is that you have to just leave the past in the past and not have all these negative thoughts every day. You have to, when you go to bed, you clear your mind, you meditate, and you just go into a void space where you are no one and you have not lived before, and anything can happen to you. Anything that you will to be true will happen to you. And it has greatly helped, because I had crazy insomnia before, and now I just go to bed and I'm like, hey, there's no problems. Those problems never existed. They don't exist now. We are in the present, and you no longer need to live in the past that has like done things to you, because we cannot stay victims of our past forever. And a lot of adult people, especially after the age of 35, we tend to just, not that I'm 35, I'm 32 right now, but we tend to just live in our past, and especially the bad situations are the ones that leave the biggest imprint on our personality. And we constantly relate to ourselves as, I was the person that was deceived, I was the person that was lied to, I was the person that lost my job, We a lot of times just relate back to these old scenarios that we have lived in the past and will it into our future, which is totally stupid to do. Like, why would you will that for your future? You should will good things for your future. And becoming supernatural, in my mind, is just accepting the fact that crazy things that you wish for yourself to happen will happen. If you believe in it 100%, if you meditate on it daily, if you just clear your mind and go to a nicer place where these things are possible, 100% these things will happen to you, whether it's health related, job related, lifestyle related, finding the right partner. It will happen if you believe deep inside yourself that it's meant to be. But if you believe you're going to be miserable just because your past has been traumatic, it probably will continue being that way. You just have to completely disconnect from whatever past you had before. And your mind is a supernatural place, and they call them quantum physics, quantum science, quantum everything, because it's not proven science, because we cannot touch it, we cannot see it. But doesn't mean it does not exist, doesn't mean that magical things do not exist just because we limit ourselves at not believing in them, and not, if you don't see, you don't believe. Well, magic certainly exists. I mean, things like radio frequencies, like things like whales or dolphins, they emit sounds that we don't perceive, we don't hear, doesn't mean they don't exist. Well, a machine can prove that they do. That's where I'm going with. There's so many aspects and dimensions to your life that you cannot limit yourself to say, just because I don't feel it now, that it will not happen or it doesn't exist. It does. Actually, it does. I remember being a child and these things being all possible. If I will something to happen, it will happen and it will be awesome. And if you want to travel in your life, go for it. Go explore. Be happy. That's the bottom line of my video. I want you to be happy with yourself. I want you to heal yourself and not be stuck in the past. And this is something I've learned, in the past month, that I knew already. As children, we all know these things, but we kind of lose them because we drown in the normal. But there's no normal. We are supernatural beings because we made a certain pattern to be natural and normal, which never actually applied to us because we have super senses. We can sense things, like, you know, when you can say things at the same time as a person, or when you have the same thought. Actually, a supernatural thing that happened to me since I accepted supernatural to be part of my life. Okay, this could be just, what's it called? Quantum science or anecdotal evidence, but watch this, okay? My hubby's car got a starter issue, meaning sometimes he presses the button to start his car and it just won't start. And we just finished a long day. We both had our cars. We were parked next to each other, and his car didn't start. I'm like, should I go? Should I stay? Whatever. I stayed, but it was like 20 minutes. 20 minutes of no. So you got the battery pack, put the battery on. Maybe it's the battery that's failing. You try with the battery pack. And then at some point, his hood wasn't holding anymore. So I got out of my car. It's winter, so I was in my car before. I got out of my car. I'm like, okay, I'll hold your hood while you try to start your car or whatever you gotta do. So I'm holding the hood. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just start his car. I know that sounds like the weirdest thing. I was holding the hood and I look at him struggling, and then I start doing the weirdest things, like abracadabra, start. And like in my mind at that very moment, I willed it and I imagined it starting. I'm like, how can I explain this to you? I imagined that I 100% could help him start his car. And then when he pressed the ignition, I had the reflex in my mind to take my hand, smash it straight on the motor and say, start. And guess what? It started. That very second. He pressed the ignition, I smashed his motor and said, start, and it started. As if the electricity in my body just started his car. Because I know this sounds weird and anecdotal, but I have many cases like that I wanted something crazy to happen and it happened. I remember it happening throughout all of my life, and it's not the last of it. But a car is an electrical, mechanical being, machine, right? Our heart, our brain, pretty much every cell in our body is also an electrical current, mechanical, fleshy machine, right? We're made of electricity. We're made of energy. The earth is made of energy. So it's totally normal, or scientifically normal, for an electrical machine to help start another electrical machine. And that's how I perceived it in this moment. Like, my electricity will transfer electricity to the car. And this is anecdotal for me, but I mean, you could just Google it, you go on YouTube, and a lot of people can generate electricity, whether it's static, whether it's like telekinesis. Is it telekinesis, moving things? Yes, I do believe so. Whether it's going thought from your head to someone else's. And actually, when I did a few sessions with my witch friends, we did telekinesis. It's all the energy you have in you. We were able to spin a little aluminum thing around the toothpick. Like, you just press your hands like that, you just concentrate, and it will start spinning. The moment you send your energy there, it will start spinning. So energy is negative or it's positive. It's you that will attract what you need into yourself. You can recharge your battery, you can drain your battery. So it's really up to you to make that choice. And one of the tricks for me, as you know, I have a lot going on in there, not that I'm crazy, but I have a lot of thoughts, I have a lot of processes in my brain all the time, so I'm rarely focused. I can focus, but it's very short. So meditation, it's not something I can do unless I have the following, okay? If, like me, you have trouble meditating or you don't believe in meditation, find a beat, find a music that's repetitive, calming or uplifting. It depends what kind of energy you want to attract to yourself, right? If you want something uplifting, you put a beat, a repetitive beat that lasts at least 10 minutes of the same track to uplift your spirit at that moment. If you want something calming, you go with the calming. It's beats per minute, but you have to like really direct it to the energy you want. Me, I like some dubstep, minimal techno, things like that. I like also like some Arab dub or Indian dub that really like sends me in another place. So you basically sit as low to the ground as possible. If you can do it outside, on the grass, underneath a tree, or anywhere where you can touch the earth, you just lay on the earth or you sit in an Indian position on the earth and you just close your eyes and you just go. You listen to the music and you let it take you where your mind wants to go, and try and make it a happy place or a place where you want to be. Like sometimes I would just sit and I'd imagine myself on top of the ocean just floating, or in a desert, like in a vast space of opportunities and where you can recharge your batteries. So that would be my advice for like how to meditate. That's how I do it. But if you really go on the Joe Dispenza's YouTube videos or podcasts, or just get the book, there are some guided meditations that he'll probably do better than I will. I'm like a total meditation newbie. But where I'm heading at with meditation is that it really recenters you and it helps you recharge your battery better than if you were just to lay in bed and think about all your problems. I suggest doing it at least once or twice a day if you really have like some problems like with your life, you know. If your life is peachy, just do it once a day. Honestly, it just helps your body relax or recharge, depending on the intention you want to get. But the earth is made of electricity, it's made of energy, and the earth will help you recharge. You know, elements of the earth will help you recharge. And it will help you recharge not just mentally, but physically, emotionally. You'll be overall in a better place. And that's why I made this video, so not just me feels good. Like, my goal in life is not that just me feels good, you know? A lot of people say work on yourself, make yourself happy first. You can't make someone happy if you're not happy. But what makes me happy is seeing people happy. Like, to have a goal in life, to have, not a goal, but like just an opportunity to see what I can do for others. That's like, you know, my calling in life, whether it's for animals, whether it's for people, like whoever surrounds me, I want them to be happy. It's not about, you know, give or take. Like, if I don't get it back, it's fine. I will recharge myself and give it again, you know. But if you can just do that for yourself to begin with, just try it. Try to give your life an opportunity to be supernatural. Try to impress yourself with what you can do. Basically, that's what the video I wanted to make for you. I hope I didn't sound like a total lunatic. I want this to be light and, I don't know, informational, and just to update you how my life is. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Anything that you will happen. Like, even if you want to be an astronaut or something like that, anything that you will and truly believe in will happen. So yeah, guys, I hope you stayed around for this video. I hope you will like it. Comment below. My comments are enabled yet again, even though this has become an adult channel. Go ask YouTube why they did that. But yeah, and leave me comments. Subscribe if you're not already a member of the AquaZone tribe. Yeah, I really like to have you here, guys. And yeah, see you soon. Ciao.